Welcome back to the TI4 European Qualifier presented by Mouz. My name is Sunsfan, joined by Sindarwin, and today, or now I should say, we have probably the best matchup of the day. I'm trying to think if there might be a better one. We'll investigate very shortly. But it's Mouz Sports, otherwise known as Dog, versus Team Coast Gaming, otherwise known as Monomaniacs, both undefeated, both considered top 4 candidates for this qualifiers.
They're actually just called Team Coast.
Let's get into the pick bands, please. I hope you guys enjoyed the. I like to call what you guys saw on the stream a little bit earlier as the nature's prophet. That's what I'm calling it. Anyway, for the bands we have Treant Protector, Bat Rider, Sand King, and AA, and again the Wisp pickup for Team Coast.
Yes.
All right, I guess it wasn't Team Coast that picked up. Oh, thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. Got my caffeinated beverage ready to go now. But we have Wisp, Darkseer, Mirana, Nyx. And I was going to say Tiny's probably going to be banned from Mouz Sports, and they do just that.
Oh, you even got a card key as a bonus.
Beautiful.
It's your lucky day. So, yeah, this is an interesting opening to the draft where IO seems to be getting a lot more priority in the European qualifier so far.
Oh, yeah.
And Mirana, same story, though. She's been pretty much a big pick in every single qualifier and continues to be so. Mouz with the first pick on that. But they take Nyx second, which I find to be pretty interesting. He's good against Darkseer. With the mana burn, but against IO, I feel like it's a little bit so-so. Of course, when it's great to have Spike Carapace against relocate ganks, and then you can perhaps turn it into an Impale. But I'm not completely sure where Mouz Sports is headed with this right now. But we're gonna see. And to follow up on what you were saying about this perhaps being the best game of the day, I'm not sure we were expecting that before the day started.
Right.
But Coast has been playing so incredibly well in their last 2 games. Okay, my mic was not.
You're okay. I can hear you perfectly, but
now?
You're sitting right next to me, so
Okay.
I guess I shouldn't be the.
Okay, it's good now. Thank you. See, Coast did extremely well against Virtus Pro, where they didn't get killed until minute 36 or something. They also completely ran over MYM. Whereas Mouz Sports in their first game against Hehe United, sure they won, but it was looking a little bit shaky. They actually had a really good start, and then Hehe United suddenly started playing a good mid game. Mouz did recover though, but I was not thoroughly impressed with that. Second game I didn't watch, so I'm not sure if they are if they're hot now.
I believe
guess
they
we could
played
say, but
Relax. I could be wrong. I think that's
actually
correct.
Not sure. Let me just check really quickly.
Yes, you check for us. Thank you. But expecting a Shadow Demon ban here for Team Coast, although they're taking their sweet time, so perhaps
yes, they did. You're right.
Perhaps not. Okay, so Relax went down again, unfortunately, and I felt like they were kind of, well, they still are, I guess, but kind of a wild card in the qualifiers. A couple of these teams are, I guess. That the one thing that's been constant throughout these qualifiers is we don't know what's going on. A lot of these teams surprise us. A lot of these teams not doing nearly as well or better than we thought they originally would. But Enchantress going to be pick up for Coast, and actually going to ban Invoker, which I'm a little bit surprised that was left this long, to be honest.
That's true. It went through all the way in. I'm wondering where Coast goes from here with their IO. So Mouz Sports decided the only hero we're afraid of IO in combination with so far is Tiny, so they removed that. What heroes would you just classically see with IO? Remaining. Maybe a Gyrocopter, maybe Ursa.
Ricky
Maru.
5 seconds remaining.
Haven't seen Ricky in a long time, though.
Well, I'm missing something. Chaos Knight, but that really doesn't get played that much anymore.
I feel like Wisp, honestly, it doesn't have to be like a standard combo. It's still useful in its own right. Especially with an Enchantress, so... But yeah, you're going to be looking at Duel Lane for sure.
Radiant team pick.
In fact, I don't think it's going to be mid. It's not going to be like last game. Darkseer could even potentially be mid, but probably the off lane.
That's a possibility.
Bane is going to be the setup stun for Mirana, so not even going Shadow Demon yet, which they still could do if they wanted. Maybe that's being too greedy with the setup for the stun. Is that even such a thing? Being too greedy with your stun setup? I mean, Shadow Demon Bane with Nyx in the off lane. Sorry, Nyx in the off lane with Bane, Shadow Demon Mirana.
10 seconds
I feel like Shadow Demon is
remaining.
better than Bane for setting that up, though.
I think you don't want to have Bane and Shadow Demon as your duo most of the time. They just don't really have too good synergy. Instant OD pick, by the way, here from Mouz against the Puck, so ready with the counter pick. The question is what Coast does now. Do they want to put the Puck mid, or are they looking for something different, like a dual lane mid with IO? I think that would be a pretty good choice. That's also going to keep them a lot safer against the Nightmare ganks, running a dual lane there.
10
And then
seconds
Darkseer can go
remaining.
off lane. If they want a lot of farm on the Darkseer instead of Puck, they are Radiant, so they can also
5
put Puck in the
seconds
off lane.
remaining.
And then we'll see the rotations from Enchantress. But it's interesting to see how Coast are doing a very
Reserve
different draft
time.
than in the first game, or in the previous game we just saw, where they put a lot of emphasis on getting tanky and having strong lanes, where here
10
they're looking a lot
seconds
more
remaining.
to play early aggression, I feel. So, well, to be
5
fair, they also
seconds
played early
remaining.
aggression last time, but it was more of a face.
Right.
What did we call it? We called it a death ball lineup, which this
Mouse
cannot
sports
transition
turn
into
to
no matter
Baron.
what their last pick is. This is a lot more about crisp coordination and execution. And what do you think is a good last pick here? Because obviously Tiny
who?
will probably for
Oh,
Coast.
for yeah. I don't know. I'd have to look at the hero pool.
10 seconds remaining.
They have to play good
The
early game.
heroes that we talked about aren't the greatest. Gyro's okay, but against Nyx,
5
maybe not that good.
seconds remaining.
So I'm really looking at Mouse Sports, to be honest. I mean, I was talking about Shadow Demon set up into the arrow. You have Astral Imprisonment there as well. So Mirana doesn't necessarily even have to be the
Radiant
core
team
hero in this
pick.
lineup. They're going to go with Slark
Wow.
Mouse
for
sports
Team
turn to
Coast.
pick.
Gaming. TCG. What do you think about Slark here?
I like it.
Mirana can't leap.
I like it because of the way it kind of fits into the rest of their lineup. They're looking to play early aggression. They're looking to snowball with their supports. Io and Enchantress are generally, when you pick these heroes together, you're looking to take control of the early game. And Slark is one of those heroes where if you manage to take control of the early game, he will go
10
out of control. And
seconds remaining.
looking over at Mouse Sports heroes, Dark Pact is really damn good. It's a great counter to Bane. If you see him starting to cast a spell, you can even tank up the arrow with Dark Pact on. Against Nyx, he's great. Fear, do you know if you come out of Astral Imprisonment with Pact? You do not come out of Astral Imprisonment
Just
with
like
Dark Pact.
yeah, it's
so.
just like Disruption. You could have
Yes.
asked me. I actually knew the answer to that for once, Cinderin.
I don't trust you with mechanics ever. But you couldn't even tell me how dare you to that. You're like, yeah, it's probably
It's
okay.
yeah. I at this point I have
Enigma.
to agree with you.
Last pick. Is this... My first thought is this is really greedy when the enemy team has this kind of early aggression. Enchantress can mess up Enigma really hard if he manages, or she manages, to get the right opener.
Yeah.
Slark, perhaps also a hero that can take advantage of it. But at the same time...
I think it's going to be a Slark mid though
10
here
seconds
with
remaining.
dual lane against OD.
I
I mean, obviously
yeah.
they could do. I mean, I don't like
5
puck in mid at
seconds
all this
remaining.
game, so
no. I would
that's
agree.
why I think it might open up Enigma to
That's
get
true,
some farm here.
actually. Yeah, that's a good point. Since Enchantress can probably not commit to going into the Dire Jungle, since it is really risky against a Bane. If she starts trying to counter out the Enigma in there, and Bane comes in with a Nightmare, and there's some sort of follow-up from either of the other heroes on Mouse Sports, she will probably get killed, so... That might make it for... Yeah, that might make for a really good Enigma pick, actually. And as far as the mid-game goes for Enigma, there's really few counters to Black Hole. There's only the Silence from Puck and Vacuum, and neither of those are really reliable against Enigma, so...
They don't have any Wombo combo though. I mean, they have the Enigma ult and I guess Sanity's Eclipse, and I guess yeah, if OD gets off to a really good start and becomes ridiculous before the late game comes, that actually could be a really good combo. But typically when you pick Enigma, I guess that's not true. Enigma is actually really good for pushing too. So we'll see if they actually become aggressive at the very early start of the game. Considering that I'm actually more interested what jungle Enchantress is going to go to if the lanes shape up the way that we thought.
Yeah.
But while we have a pause, let's go over the lineups for, as we're looking at Puck's amazing new cosmetics.
Those wings are genuine, bro.
Honestly, I'm not a big fan. I love cosmetics, as you guys would know, but for heroes that are just so small, and you don't notice their difference like immediately, like look how small Puck is. That's not a cosmetic that I'm, any Puck cosmetics are just like, they're so small. Like, who's the best example? Ricky.
You're doing a really great job at going over the lineups
Ricky
right now, by
Ricky
the
is
way.
like a top
very
6
impressed.
most played hero in pubs, and he's not top 10 in cosmetics. You know why? Because he's small and invisible, Cinderin. The other team can't see his cosmetics. There's no point in getting cosmetics on Ricky.
So what if you got cosmetics that made him visible? Do you think that would be good?
Well, that would be kind of game breaking, but I guess
Pay to lose,
it
you
might.
know?
Yeah, it would be a pay to lose game at that point. Anyway, for Mouse Sports, we have Fata playing the mid OD. At least we're assuming it's going to be mid OD. Misery is going to be playing the Enigma. MSS on Nyx Assassin. Pos on Bane. And last but not least, Pycat on the one position Mirana.
This is probably Pycat's best hero, and the thing that Mouz are most comfortable playing is when he gets the Mirana, so not surprised to see them first picking in this game. For Coast, we've got Solen, or Solen, however you want to pronounce it, going to the offlane probably as the Darkseer. We've got Steph Style on the Enchantress. Ape Mother will be playing a Slark, Frigolite on Io, and finally that leaves E-Skills to play the Puck. And I guess we can agree that Coast needs to play an explosive early game. They need to get stuff done because Mouz are running a greedy jungler in the Enigma. They have superior mid game to say the least. And Darkseer, who is often a good comeback hero, does not really have much to combo with here to make the big comeback. Sure, he has his own vacuum wall, which is really great, but there isn't that oomph apart from you could vacuum into a Dream Call Silence, arguably, but that's all. They don't really have any secondary
I feel like, okay, so if this was another qualifiers, first of all, we wouldn't see Bane setting up Mirana for an arrow. We can agree on that. So Mirana would be in some worthless dual lane where she can't get any arrows. And the problem with that is you don't get off to a really good start, so the late game comes later, if that makes any sense. But for this game, that's not going to be the case, which, especially if it's a 2v1, that's going to be a very easy arrow setup. So yeah, for Coast, Slark, obviously one of the best mid-game... I don't know if I can call him a carry. He's just a snowballing... He's more of a side carry, I feel like, although he's not playing the side carry role today. I guess you can transition him into a hard carry if he gets off to like a redonkulous start, but more of a mid-game oriented hero. Relies a lot on stealing stats and whatnot, but aggression is definitely the name of the game for Coast Game. We're going to have Wisp and Slark actually going bottom versus the Nyx Assassin. Are you surprised by this? I mean, it was obviously a possibility, but I didn't think they'd do that.
To me, this means...
Oh, the Pounce is going to miss!
To me, this means that Coast will be running Enchantress mid early. She has to help out the Puck, or Puck is going to lose the lane. Puck will need a head start. The moment OD hits level 3, and especially level 5, the Puck is just going to get crushed in this lane. So far, their damage is somewhat similar, but after just 2 Astral Imprisonments, Puck's damage is going to be so much lower. He's doing okay for now. That's what you can do in the first 2 waves, but after that it gets really difficult. Darkseer, he hasn't got a single experience point. Pass is keeping full control of this offlane, and you're really not satisfied with not getting experience in the beginning as Darkseer in the Radiant offlane, which is where you have to get something done. And I think what Solen should be doing, if he isn't accomplishing anything on the next 2 waves, he needs to go jungle. This is just not working out. He's pushing the tower, and Pycat will just farm there. He missed 1 CS in the first 2 waves.
I feel like Mouse should know that he's going to end up transitioning at some point to the jungle, so they should go for an aggressive kill right away. There's a Nightmare into the arrow. Kaboom! Well, we'll see if they have enough right-click damage to go here. Of course, he doesn't have Surge. He only has Ion Shell, and there's no Treant, which I'm almost always used to seeing on the team. Is it going to actually gets cockblocked by the trees himself? Pops his health sub. He's going to live, but it costs 100 gold for him to live, and he's going to have to go back to base here.
This area right here that I drew a circle at the tower, other tower, top, yeah, good. So this area is really fishy when it comes to the pathing in the game.
Was that a pun with Slark in the game?
No, not at all, actually. How would you think? Speaking of Slark, he is not in this gang. On the Nyx, they might actually get him here. Steph Style with some good body blocking. Now there's going to be a troll and snare here available. Oh, nice impale.
Quadruple impale, actually. But here comes Puck. Oh, they lose their order. They're actually going to go through the Nyx.
Oh my god, is he getting away?
Yeah, the right clicks won't be enough.
They did not land the ensnare. That's huge for MSS. Wasted so much time for the supports. He's level 3. Darkseer's level 1. But yeah, to finish off on my point, the area around that top tier 1 tower for Radiant is weird when it comes to pathing. You have to be careful with how you click, because there is some sort of an invisible wall almost that you can go through if you click specifically, but else it starts running around like happened there.
We've all fall victim to that at some point.
Yeah.
For sure.
But good reactions from Solen to use the salve as he did. Else he would have died for that.
Well, mid lane more. Astral Imprisonment, Spamage from Fata, of course. OD considered by many the best 1v1 hero in the game. Of course there are some counters, but a lot of those counters, certain people, including you and Fear, really hate seeing. That's Razor and Viper in particular. Actually, no, I shouldn't say that. You love Razor, although he's kind of meh overall. Yeah. You're not gonna comment on that?
I like to. You can.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Looking at the last hits, well, Slark is the only one doing okay for Coast. And he's in a complete free-farm lane for the most part. And
They
that's
doomed
actually
themselves
surprising.
from the beginning with how they set the lanes, unless if Enchantress accomplishes something. But
Ooh, speaking of that,
yep, might
mid
see an
lane,
attempt.
Fata
This is gonna
has
be very,
Astral.
very hard.
Okay, here we go. We have the tomato. Tomato. He's gonna get off the stun. Nope. Actually, he's gonna dodge the nuke from
Still
the
think he's
tomato.
gonna die, maybe.
Orb's gonna miss. I do believe it missed, actually. He's gonna actually go deep here. Fata, quite a bit of trouble. Pops his bottle, but alas will go on the Waning Rift. And the tomato and company getting first blood for Coast. Team Coast Gaming, I apologize.
This is so
here
important
comes Bane.
because else Puck was out of this lane. So great rotation in here from Steph Style, making the right call. And maybe now MSS has got himself into a really bad position here.
Pops his spike character. Beautiful Impale again, this time on one hero and an illusion, so maybe not that great after all. But Puck will get out barely with the skin of his teeth here. MSS taking some right clicks, but looks like he'll be fine. Nightmare's there. They're surrounding. Malefice to follow. Wisp, goodbye. Good it. Good it.
Goodbye, good ball.
Good ball. Okay. Can't wait for that hero to get an Arcana set. I'm hoping everybody votes for that. of
So
course.
you can't wait for that hero to get a gender. Oh, Solon is going to get jumped on here by Pycat. He's going to take this solo kill probably. No pun intended. Wait. Oh, maybe not. He will be surging around, and yeah, he will get out here. That was really, really close.
He had that arrow without even a setup.
Yeah. See, maybe that's what the other qualifiers were thinking. If our
Except
Mirana
they
is good
didn't
enough,
do it. That's the problem. Yeah, he's going to continue to surge away, so he'll dodge this Bane that is rotating over here from mid lane. What do you think about the Bane here in this particular game? Well, actually, can Enfeeble be Dark Pacted off?
No.
Okay, so nothing takes that off once it's on, including BKB and all that good
Nothing
stuff.
in the entire game.
So that's something to keep in mind. Of course, like we talked about, Slark, a hero that needs to gain damage for the most part, at least, by stealing other people's damage. So the Enfeeble actually might come into play big time in this game.
If he wants to go for it. I see Bane's...
I see a lot of people ignore that. that's
Yeah,
true.
Banes generally tend to ignore that these days, which I don't agree with. I still think in many cases it's better to max out the Enfeeble than the Nightmare. You get a little more cast range on the Nightmare, which I guess is what people level it for, because the extra few seconds it will generally be taken off by something, or you get hit by some sort of AoE ability or whatnot. But Enfeeble scales so well into the late game, but yeah, we'll see. I completely agree that Ape Mother will... I'm not sure if we should say he needs to steal damage to do damage, but he really has to be active and do damage. That's the one thing we can't agree on, because he was the only one who got off to a good start. Puck, even with the kill on mid, is completely destroyed by OD. That's how the lane goes.
Yeah, I mean, how often do you see
And Darkseer
a
is
Puck
just...
resorting to bottle crowing? I mean, here that can generally get the runes whenever she wants. Oh, might have
Why
a gank.
is-
This is a really early gank attempt with Slark. They're smoked up here, but Fata seems to know what's going on. He's stuck at his tower. Or I shouldn't say stuck, but being very passive by his tower. Very smart move. And this gank has failed already. And time commitment going the way of Coast. And Enchantress is going to rotate top, so this push
This is
on the way
this
from
is
Misery
so
and
obvious
company.
because Io is farming the bottom lane. So where is Slark?
Yeah.
He has to be
Oh,
ganking.
arrow set up by the Bane Nightmare. But here comes Slark with the right clicks. There's a Dream Coil from the rotation from Puck. That's one dead right off the bat. Mouse Sports down one, surging with the... Oh, he actually goes down in here. Toss will fall as well. So it ends up being a 2-for-1, which is actually a little bit surprising, considering that Mouse Sports, like you said, seemed to know exactly what was going on.
Coast again with some really clutch rotations, which was also the most impressive from their performance against Virtus Pro. Making the right call here to move up those heroes, and do get a 2-for-1. Not really the best trade, all things considered, but could have also gone worse, so I guess they can be happy with this. Fata will be going for a Midas in the mid lane against the Puck, so he will be getting an even bigger lead, since Puck did have to TP up to the top lane to help out. Fata took advantage of that and got some more free farm. And my biggest concern for Coast is I think Solon was way too stubborn. This is just one of those cases where like shit didn't work.
Bottom
Let's
lane,
go jungle.
Impale, along with the Spike Carapace. We're seeing a Nightmare. Black Hole's there. I wouldn't be surprised if he uses it. Doesn't have mana, though.
Doesn't have to use it
Malefice
either.
should be enough, though, as he gets stunned in the trees. Well, this is the slowest death of all time. But, alas, MSS will take it in the end. So it's a 3-3 tie at this point. I think Misery's doing a really good job of rotating. Of course, it didn't go so well at top lane, as Mirana was actually forced out for a bit. But looking at the CS again, I mean,
Eternal Spring.
Mouse just creating so much space for their OD and Mirana. I mean, we talked about the Bane setup. We haven't seen that so much, but it hasn't really needed it this game thus far.
No. And Bane with the level 5 has also got his. He's been part of all 3 kills for Mouse Sports, so has been getting some good experience in gold based on that. Looks like he will be doing the main part of the supporting, so Enigma can get a fast mech. which I don't think he has just yet because of his own rotations. This is going to be a decently timed mech, not the fastest in the world, but Misery has also been part in all 3 kills. And taking action early with Enigma is not something we see that often, but in this game he's been doing a really good job, like you said, so I agree with his decision in that regard. I'm going to go back to the Darkseer so far. I think that's the biggest story of the game right now, is that Darkseer did not get enough out of the early game. Can he make the comeback he needs to do for his team? Iron Shell together with Slark is ridiculously powerful, but it's currently only level 2, and this is when you would like to be level 6 on Darkseer perhaps, which he could have easily been in the jungle, maybe even level 7. And his top tower, he might have lost it to the Enigma, but would that have been a better trade? I don't know, he died twice as well.
Yeah, well actually he just completely switched lanes here with the Slark, who's now getting free farm at top, and of course the reason for that is it's much more difficult to actually lock down a Slark. I mean, Nightmare has such low range that you can just pop Dark Pact and leap away pretty much or pounce away I should say, every single time. But yeah, Wisp, how often do we see a Wisp continually soloing to get XP? I kind of like it, to be honest. I mean, obviously it's not the best situation overall, but getting that level 6 really fast actually might...
Bot lane.
Yeah, bot lane we have Illusory Orb.
He's just going to defend, not want to fight.
An
here.
Illusory Orb defense. That sounds legit,
Yeah,
actually.
you didn't call it Illuminate, I'm very proud of you.
No, it's Illuminate that I call Illusory Orb.
Damn it.
Illusory
you
Orb,
didn't
I
mess
always
it
call
up.
Illusory
I'm
Orb.
very proud of
Thank you. Thank you, Syndra. We've come so far together. OD working on a Midas. At least I would think it could be Treads, I suppose. Whatever it is, it's on the
flying out
carrier.
now.
Is it the Midas? Okay.
So 10 minutes, not too shabby. He has a bottle, boots, and a null, so does get it a little bit slower than other heroes might.
Always fun to have that Midas against an Enchantress, too.
That's true. That's a good point.
In fact, I love going Lifestealer and getting Midas, infesting against the Enchantress.
And against
Best
Chen,
combo
that's a
EU.
pretty good counter.
For sure.
So Mouz are going to continue their pressure bottom lane with 2 heroes here. MSS just got level 6 on the Nyx Assassin, but the Iron Shell is doing a decent job at keeping the wave pushed out here by Solon. He did crack level 5, so the Iron Shell is starting to be relevant at this point. But I don't know why E-Skills is staying here. He actually just got spotted by the Dire, and he will get an Orb Reflection in. He's helping defend the tower, but I think Mouz are content with this. It doesn't matter that Puck is down here defending. They don't need to take the tower. As long as the game is stalling out, it's to their advantage.
Yeah.
Io now level 6. Something needs to happen. They drafted for an early game domination. They did not get it.
Have you ever seen Wisp stay in solo for this long? In this very early stage of the game to get that level 6? I haven't seen that
I
very
think a few times, but you're right, it is pretty uncommon. Here we are. Relocate is an option.
Relocate with the Slark. Oh, Slark picked up something on the courier.
Shadow Amulet.
Ooh, beautiful. Love those Shadow Amulets. Once he gets that Lothars, that'll obviously boost their ganking potential quite a bit, as Enchantress now has the Troll Warlord creep. And we're going to have some more TP rotation, but Mouz seems to know what's up. They have 3 here as well. Pycat, Pos, and the Enigma. Of course, Enigma hasn't used the Black Hole. I thought he should have used it, or I said he should have used it at bot lane, but it turned out that he didn't need it. As now Puck actually getting closer to the Blink Dagger than I thought she would, to be honest.
It's because she skipped Treads and has a kill and 2 assists. Else he would be very, very far away from it. But good pressure on the tower here from Coast. Think Mouz are going to concede this tower. Or maybe not, actually. Misery's going to get caught out by Ape Mother here. Black Hole really early.
Oh, Black Hole on Ape Mother along with the Illusory Orb. Oh, he's taking so much damage. The burst damage from the Star Storm will finish him off. And this should mean Coast Gaming should fall back here, as Enchantress will die, among others, I would assume. Io trying to get out of Sanity's Eclipse on the edge of the AoE, taking him out. So that's 3 for 1. Enigma did fall after the Black Hole, but it was definitely worth it, as Slark was the first dead, didn't get any experience to get any gold, which is really the most unfortunate thing here for Coast Gaming.
Excellent reaction from Misery to cast the Black Hole that early. That was one thing we were talking about before the game even started as well, was that Coast don't have any Black Hole counters apart from Puck in the early game. There's not a single point in vacuum, so the only thing that stops it is Dream Coil and Silence. And I think Puck was around here when Enigma cast the Black Hole over here, so it takes at least 2 seconds for Puck to travel across. And by then the damage was already done. So, in hindsight, Ape Mother should probably not have gone for this, but I can understand why he got kind of, I don't want to call it desperate, but why he thought that was an opening. But Mouz responding very, very well here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Putting some pot damage onto this tier 1 tower mid, but they will fall back at least for now. Is this going to be a smoke engagement? Of course, Misery doesn't have his ult, so they don't want to really team fight. Fiend's Grip was used in that fight as well. I didn't see that. I'm sure it secured a kill on somebody, though. They did get 3. Haste pop by Fata. Astral Imprisonment, there we go. Darkseer taking the brunt of it.
Relocate!
Arrow coming in as well. There's the relocate like you talked about. Poss getting blown up to the impetus as long as the Slark damage as well. As they're going to continue pressure onto Mouses, they're going to just back up. So it's a 1-for-1 exchange right now. And well, Wisp is kind of just stuck down there. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the OD. Of course, he does have haste still enabled.
And with Slark and Io back in the bottom lane, I think Mouz will just take this mid tower at this point. Misery will have Demonic Conversion in another 5 seconds. Soul Ring is available as well. So it will also have the mana for a Malefice. And
Radiant's
there we go.
tower is under attack.
Not sure if Frigolite should have pulled the Slark back there. Maybe he could have defended this tier 1 mid, but Mouz with some good pressure. And again, the farm is just... They're out farming Coast really heavily right now.
Was that the puck that got initiated on with Astral? Who was that? It wasn't Darkseer.
I didn't see that, actually. It was
Yeah,
puck.
it was puck. So the arrow hit her directly after the Astral without her phase shifting. And she was destroyed before the fight even began. Meaning that her initiation with Orb... Of course, her Blink Dagger's online now, too, so that would have been pretty big.
And that's going to be a really big deal here. I think Mouz need to be a little bit careful. They're feeling the momentum, and they are ahead, but this is the type of fight that Coast can make a comeback in. Pass is going to grip Ape Mother here. No, he failed the blink!
Oh my god, the arrows. Oh, he's going to hit Slark, but of course the Dark Pact is going to finish off the Bane. Here we have Mirana's ult coming into effect. Actually, a nice phase shift dodge by E-Skills. He's going to get out just fine.
Oh, and Pale's going to miss too.
Pale's going to miss as well. Astral Imprisonment, though, going to keep it in place. Stefan style. Oh my goodness, that Arcane Orb does so much damage. Waning Rift, E-Skills. Trying to create some space for his team, and the Sanity's Eclipse is actually used. Here comes the Lothar's Ape Mother, though. Gonna pounce upon Fata, who has the Astral again. The cooldown is ridiculous. Arrow is gonna connect on the EO. Can they clean him up before the duration is up? Yes, the Impale will ensure that as Ape Mother resigned to just sit by his creeps. Actually gets a pounce out of a beautiful black hole on 2. Ape Mother and Solon taking so much damage. Can they finish him off, Mouse Sports? They do. Actually, no. Solon is there. Coming back with his teammate who just got Astral. Was that an EO buyback? It must have been.
Oh, this is going to be so close. No.
Oh, the arrow hits the neutral. That actually might have hit EO there. Fata's going to clean up Darkseer. I don't know if that was a Wisp buyback or its cooldown is just so low. Okay, it was a buyback. Oh, there we go. Buyback's beautiful. So, pretty expensive, but alas, it wasn't a dieback overall. But Slark again dying in this engagement, and that is not what you need from your mid-game carry.
That fight showed the potential that Slark and Darkseer have together at this point. Just so much damage being done. Again, a really good black hole from Misery, and this is a problem that Coast will have to address. It's why they're losing these fights, is that Misery just turns around and black holes them. They need to either have the Dream Coil saved, or Puck needs to have the Waning Rift ready. Those are the only two counters, as mentioned a couple of times, and E-Skills, because he failed the blink here on the opener on Bane, he used the Dream Coil to keep Bane in place. So that was not available to break the black hole, and Misery just making the right call once again. And this just makes you wonder, when Misery has the BKB on Enigma, how the hell are Coast going to take a team fight?
Troll, I guess.
Yeah, troll creep, that's true.
That's the only thing you can do.
It's like the only way they can stop it at that point.
Well, I guess Abyssal.
Abyssal
if you can maneuver your way around there. But that's...
Right, counters do exist, but... That's going to be a pretty late Abyssal that Ape Mother is looking at with this, with the rate this is going at.
Mouse Sport's going to group up a bot lane. We have Vendetta popped on this Nyx Assassin, but won't find anything with it, unfortunately. And it is a 12-7 advantage for Mouse Sports. OD and Mirana farming, well, OD in particular farming really well. Of course, he has the Midas, and expecting him to go 4-staff first.
Then he would have bought it already, I think. He's got 3.2k gold. I'm not sure what Fata is saving for at this point, if he wants a first item BKB, since it counters the entire Radiant lineup. That might just be the approach for Mouz. We're doing great. Get some BKB guys and we can just start team fighting. And oh, here we go!
Yeah, Waning Rift initiation along with the Dream Coil. Here comes EO and Slark taking so much damage, though. EO's getting Fiend's Grip. He's going to go down before anything happens. Troll Trap is actually used on Bane. Of course, Enigma's Black Hole's down, so it doesn't really matter at this point. Fata gonna get the kill on the... Oh my god, the Illusory Orb again being used with the burst damage. 2-for-1 exchange right now in favor... Well, actually, I'd say this in favor of Coast, to be honest. Misery gets blown up as a result. There's a nice Impale on E-Skills and Solon getting nightmared. But with Enigma Black Hole... I'm sorry, Enigma and OD down, this was definitely an advantage for Coast overall. They're not able to secure a kill on MSS and are forced back here.
I think they might be able to turn this around if Darkseer Iron Shells himself and runs in. That might be exactly what they're thinking here.
Oh, let's see. Oh my god, the Impale again, beautifully done, but the Darkseer getting destroyed in the end. I'm sorry, the Slark getting destroyed. Pass trying to run away. Right clicks are there though, and Pycat the lone survivor for Mouseport. So this is very surprising. That's the thing about Slark you have to keep in mind. Although he died, he's a very in and out kind of hero. Can take a lot of damage and come back with his ult very shortly thereafter. Misery. Very early Midnight Pulse used. Actually, the tether just didn't proc at all thanks to that Malefice.
Yep. Got stopped halfway. It's Iron Shell keeping Ghost in the game right now, I think. It's doing so much work, but once again, the problem is the moment the BKBs come off for the Dire side, that's not going to cut it anymore. And to look back in the game and to think that Solon could have maybe had high levels on Iron Shell like 4 minutes earlier, think about the amount of impact that could have had on this game with how the team fights are going right now. If they had that a little bit earlier. But now, again, coming out ahead, looking really good as far as the farm goes and taking another tier 1 tower. I believe they will start looking at Roshan as their next objective. Mech, however, picked up by Darkseer, which is a really big deal. The question is if it's too late. This is a 20-minute mech on a core Darkseer. That's just really late.
This game is going to be... Our opinion of this game is going to be shaped based on the fact that Darkseer didn't go in the jungle right away after the initial terrible start that he had.
I know I'm harping on it quite a bit, but I think it's been the biggest deal of Coast's early game so far. That was the one thing that they could have definitely done differently that might have changed quite a few things. They're still holding on and they're taking some really great fights, which makes me think that if they would have done that, perhaps they could have been the ones leading this game right now. But Mouz are just taking complete advantage of their lineup. They're playing some excellently executed team fights, especially with Black Holes and Astrals who've been on point. And their item decisions are really good too. Getting the BKB on OD first I think makes a lot of sense in this game. They're getting BKB on Enigma as well. They have the mech on the Enigma way earlier than Darkseer has his. And Mirana is going for Drum, Aquila, and then probably into another, maybe a Yasha or something like that. Mirana does not need to get incredibly farmed in this game since there is an OD. So, good decisions all around for Mouseport.
Well, that's the beauty of having an OD. You're going to come online in the mid game.
Oh, Nyx. Goes for it!
Fine, EO gets the Impale Vendetta off. Arrow to fall is going to hit, and there's the Fiend's Grip. 8-Mother can't do anything about it other than that, thanks to the beautiful Waning Rift initiation from Puck. They're actually going to clean up Bane here. There's the Black Hole on 8-Mother. Is he able to get out in time to pounce?
Yes!
He gets off his beautiful ultimate, barely in time. Malefice is there, along with Astral. Not the greatest timing overall from Mouz, and the Impale not even great timing as well. Stefan South still in some trouble, though. Fata doesn't have his 4-7, obviously went for the BKB, but they should be able to find...
Oh, he went for the attack them. Now he might outrange the Astral.
Man, they're missing everything. But it doesn't really matter. One more Arcane Orb should do it.
There we go.
In fact, Astral is used just to ensure the kill, as we have a little zoom in on Enchantress dying. Somebody loves watching Enchantress die over and over again. But Slark barely lives there. That was so close. Yeah, right the dough fetish. Somebody hates Bambi.
Got him. But again, a nice fight from both sides here. 8-Mother very lucky to get out of there alive, and again a clutch Black Hole from Misery. So nice play from from both sides as said. And the question is the item progression right now, where Mouz are still just, in my opinion, just gaining a lot more. Even though the gold graph isn't dipping that heavily, they're getting some much more important items than the ones Coast are working on right now.
Oh boy. Yeah. We have a night. Oh my god, look at how much burst damage that is without any ultis really used. Malefice is there as well. Beautiful vacuum, but not going to have the wall, obviously. Here comes Slark and EO, but EO gets destroyed right off the bat. And I do believe Coast wants to back up here, but there's the Impale. Along with the Vendetta, E-skills. Wrong place, wrong time, good sir. 8-Mother now. He's going to get his Dark Pact off. I'm sorry, his ult. Jesus, Sanity's eclipsed.
Okay, he got killed. They got him.
So they caught out... Who was it they caught out? It was the Darkseer that ended up living too, so...
Yeah, a little... Thanks for the save, guys. Don't think it was worth it.
Yeah. That is unfortunate. Enigma's working on her beat. I don't know why I'm calling everybody he and her and it. The Wisp is really throwing me off today. And the Puck. They're both its. But Enigma, with that Duke Nukem voice, will be picking up a BKB very shortly. Just about a recipe away now. And when that time comes, like we talked about, the Troll Warlord... Is that even called... that? The Troll Warlord? The hero is called Troll Warlord, so I don't know what the troll is called.
What's the creep called again?
Well, whatever the troll neutral is. It's like one of the few counters.
God damn it, why can't I remember what that's called? That's actually a little embarrassing.
You can find it.
Is there one? There is a camp here. Dark Troll Summoner.
Okay, so Troll Warlord.
That's why I couldn't remember it.
Yeah, nobody could remember that crap.
Like tomato and potato. What are they actually called?
I don't know. Ursa. Oh, it was originally Ursa Warrior, but I know that's not the case. Yeah. Marana picks up a Mjolnir.
They're called Hellbears.
Hellbear Smashers. Yeah, once somebody... Yeah, I can dig that, actually. But tomato does sound better.
Tomato Smasher.
We can all agree. Tomato... Well, that's pretty good.
Tomato and potato smasher.
Well, it turns into mashed potatoes after they're dead, I suppose. But mashed potato tomato. But what was I going to say? Enigma working toward the BKB. Oh, that's right. The Mjolnir now on Mirana. So you're talking about how she doesn't necessarily need to right-click that much or that high. At least this stage of the game, she already does a decent amount. As they're going to take the tier 1 top.
And at the same time defending the tier 1 mid. MSS is in position. He actually has a blink dagger, and he will... Oh!
Was that a double click? I think that was. Or was he trying to run into the orb?
He was trying to get into the orb with Carapace on.
Astral. And another TP.
Enigma has Black Hole.
Uh-oh, Slark pouncing away. Here's a beautiful vacuum wall just to avoid any more pressure, but Darkseer might find this will be his death. And this time he saves his teammates, so I guess you can have solace and feeling good about yourself.
Oh. Absolutely huge.
Enchantress gets arrowed, destroyed. And the Wisp Puck combination that we talked so much about in this pregame is here to run away from Mouse Sports' lineup. Illusory Orb will ensure. Actually, Wisp. Okay, nice. Tether up again.
Arrow?
Arrow, 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 arrow! Gonna hit the tower. We'll stun the crap out of that tower. Well, Mouse Sports is in a pretty damn good position. And they haven't used the Aegis yet. I mean, OD is just farmed out of control. And actually, now that we look at it, Mirana is very close on her heels as well. So, 2,000 gold to boot after picking up the
He's
Mjolnir.
7-0 and 12 on the Mirana.
You talked about how this is Pycat's best hero.
Yeah,
and
excellent performance so far in this game. And that's the reason he's on par with OD, who does have a Midas and actually has higher CS. But Pycat's just been involved in pretty much everything. He hasn't died. Yeah, he's been playing an excellent game. He has hit some really crucial arrows, but it's just the whole combination of heroes from Mouse Sports that I expected from the draft. If they did not get run over in the early game, they just have so many things going for them. The Black Holes have been good. Nyx Assassin has hit some great impales. Fata's getting the job done with all the damage and control. The Astrals in particular have been important.
He's trying to attack. He'll get it off. It's half HP. Blink Impale to follow. Mech's actually going to save Enchantress, at least for now, and the right clicks will not be there for Nyx thanks to that beautiful untouchable passive. And actually, he's going to get turned around upon. Nice arrow. The Sandy's Eclipse to follow. So much damage coming out from Fata as Wisp and Enchantress end up dying on the back end here. And Slark, Darkseer, everybody. BKB pop by Misery, but nothing to follow. Yeah, the PGG initiation from Enigma. But 8 Mother's going to get blown up here, and Mouse Sports just cleaning up left and right. Beautiful vacuum wall, actually. But alas, it won't matter too much. In fact, the Dream Coil was on point as well, but it's just a little bit too late as the GG's come out. A little bit earlier than I thought, but...
This game is over, so I completely understand it.
Well, last game was over like at 20 minutes, and it went 40 minutes.
The difference about that game was that Virtus Pro actually had a comeback mechanism, and Coast doesn't in this game. Their entire lineup is based around doing well in the early game, and they just got flat out outplayed. Now, What's really interesting about this game, I feel, and that I think Coast can take with them from this game, I don't think Mouse Sports' teamfight execution was that much better than Coast's. They got out-strategized, but as far as their coordination, their communication, and their spell usage, I think that was really good.
Right.
Mouse won this game on strategy, almost strategy exclusively. They got the better lanes, they had the better mid-game, and they did not lose the early game. So,
well, I think
strategic win, I think is fair to say.
It was the laning.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about the whole game. We don't need to harp on it anymore, but the laning stage for Darkseer just wasn't... I mean, he ended up getting decent farm in the end. I say decent farm, but obviously that's not that decent.
They also had a puck against an OD. That's also just a doomed lane. So they had 2 lanes that were completely doomed.
I felt like they had the Slark Wisp that could have gone against the OD. Would have been better off.
Yeah. I think that would have been
the lanes would have been kind of unorthodox with the Enchantress being really out of place. I mean, where would he... I guess he could gank mid. 3v1 kind of thing.
Puck is fine against Nyx one-on-one as well. I would have agreed with that a lot more than this decision. I was really surprised to see them doing it. And when I saw them doing it, I was thinking, okay, the reason they're doing this is that they're going to put the Enchantress constantly focusing on dealing with the problems in mid. Went there once, did get a successful gank, but the lane was almost already lost at that point. And it did not make Puck catch up. It gave Puck a little bit of a comeback, but he was still behind. So overall, Mouse with a good strategy, but I'm still going to say I'm impressed with Coast, and I think as far as the rest of the qualifiers go, I guess they've surprised a lot of people. Many thought they were going to be good. I think they're better than what I would have expected as far as their execution goes. If they do not fall behind on strategy, they are, for me, easily a contender for top 2. That's how good I think they're playing right now. Like, mechanics, communication, team play, great. Lost on strategy in this game, but the previous 2 where they didn't lose on strategy, those games were complete stomps against against MYM and Virtus Pro. So high hopes for them, and Mouse, of course, stay the favorites. They're now 3-0, so looking good going forward. And when is Mouse's next game. I think it's actually... Let's have a look at the schedule. Are they done for today? Oh, there's no way, right? They have one more game against Power Rangers.
That should be really good.
Which...
If that's
and
today.
Aware. Where's the Aware game? Yeah, there it is. So they're playing Power Rangers. They're playing Power Rangers in the round after the next one. No,
Okay.
the next round. They're playing Power Rangers now, and then they're playing... They have a 1-match break, and then they play against Aware last.
Excellent. So it looks like next on this stream will be next.kz, which are called X Game. Everybody has an alternate
X-Game
name.
KZ. MYM are called MYM.
Right, MYM will always be MYM, so I guess we can always bank on that. But that's coming up next. And on the upstairs stream, BTS, are they doing qualifiers right now? Or are they doing the other tournament?
So I believe the last, let's see, the last round of...
Okay, it should be...
The last round of
yeah,
the
that should
Mars...
be the PR.
yeah.
Yeah, that should be PR Mouse.
So the Mars
on
TV
BTS
tournament
too,
should be
actually.
done for today, which is the Chinese tournament running in the same place as the qualifiers did. And because of that, we're going to be turning on the upstairs stream for the qualifiers for the rest of the night. So there's going to be 3 games coming up there. The first one on there is going to be AC and Fear with Dog versus PR. Dog being Mouse Sports now. And of course, apart from that, we also have High Ground TV as always running, and we do have the lounge stream where people are just casually watching the game.
So we're back to
hang
normal.
out.
We're back
So
to our
we're back
4
to normal,
streams.
the way we've been the rest of the qualifiers. And yeah, check it out. Go to beyondthesummit.tv. That's the easiest way to find all the streams. I guess we're going to be taking a short break, and then we will be back with X Game versus MYM.